I'm joined here now with Player-1, the my odds-on pick for number one player in the world for these mid-season rankings. But we're here to talk about Brawl in 2025 and the rankings as they might stand moving into the rest of the year. So this is going to only encompass up until the current season where we're at. So anything pre-Riptide, I don't even think there's a tournament happening at Riptide yet. But like I said, I'm here with Player-1. How are you doing, P1?
Yeah, pretty good. Is Riptide's this weekend?
I think so. It's happening right now, if I'm not mistaken. Double
Okay,
check
but
on
you're just
that.
saying there's no Brawl tournament there.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Brawl tournament going on
Yeah,
for this year.
last Riptide, that's when Reflex went there, right?
Yeah, that was the
Reflex
reflex
and
coming
Chia?
out of
Okay,
coming out
okay.
of the wood.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I know he went to one, but I wasn't sure which one. I couldn't
Right,
remember what tournament he went to.
right. Yeah, it was Riptide. They had a banger set, kind of an all time classic, especially for those mid tier heroes. But yeah, so I halfway is probably a misnomer, right? We're probably a majority of the way through the season. I would venture a guess. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably, I don't know, what's after Supernova is always kind of up in the air. Like last year, there was like Wavelength and stuff like that. But at the moment, I'm not sure exactly what is on the docket, other than I think Ninja's tournament maybe is kind of out there. I don't know if anything else pops up. Let us know. But yeah, Hinky says the chat is working, so we're good. So I put together a sheet. It was a fun little stats project, and I went through and I rated all these fun tournaments. So about 74 brackets. I still have a couple dozen that I'm not sure are Project M or Brawl tournaments. One of the problems that we have on StartGG is that a lot of Project M tournaments list their game as Brawl, and I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Like sometimes it's obvious. They put like Project or they put Brawl in quotes, and it's like players that I've never heard or seen before, right? But sometimes there are probably some Brawl tournaments, so there might be some in there. But what's cool for me that I've noticed is that there's been a lot of talk about the game is in trouble and kind of there's not a lot of people playing and stuff like that. But we have like nearly 75 tournaments that have gone through, probably approaching 80 tournaments probably by that were just strictly Brawl. And of the total players that we had, it was over 550, I think. Let me scroll down. Let's get um, the number on that really quick. Wish I had this immediately on hand, but scrolling all the way down. I guess I could have just grabbed the sidebar. But yeah, 563 players overall is where I landed. Yeah, and that's unique players that have actually played a set. Because what I actually went and did on my end too is I tabulated every result, every game count, every losers game count and stuff like that, and we filtered out all the DQ only results. So 560 some odd players have actually played in a set of Brawl throughout this 2025 year, according to StartGG. So I don't know if that's bigger or smaller. I feel like it's a little smaller than where we were at, like 2013, 2014, but it can't be that much smaller. You know what I mean?
Um, yeah, I think like I guess it's hard to tell because like we had so many more local tournaments back in the
Right.
2013-14 era, but it was also I don't like if you went back to the brackets. Well, like you wouldn't be able to collect as many brackets probably. Like
Right.
everyone does it on Start GG now. It's kind of I guess easier to search up tournaments
Right.
than using the old Smash boards like to search
The results
just
thread
looking
and
all the brackets. Yeah,
final
because I'm sure
shoutouts.
there are a lot of like paper brackets that are lost to time.
Yeah, TIO files out there that are lost to the world and in the wild, definitely. But
Hmm.
yeah. Um, in terms of the tournaments that we looked at, or that I looked at, a few of them kind of stood out as major events. Genesis, Sweet Spot 9, both the brackets, Monarch, Get on My Level, Supernova, Ranbat Legends seem to be like the ones with like kind of the heavier hitter players. There's one more in here that I didn't get to. This Game Lab pre Supernova Had Vex and Kaios in it actually. As a matter of fact, I can add that really quick. Game Lab pre Supernova, and off the top of my head, Vex won that one, and Kaios came in second. I think Dark Falco came in third, but I think that was Monarch in that tournament was only tournament, so I probably won't go through that. But for the rankings, this purposes, it's important to note Kaios and Vex in particular. So, were there any other tournaments that you could think of that might have been big? I can't think of any. And this is just having poured through all of it. There's some shout outs that I think are deserved community wise is all these like underground empire monthlies and stuff like that ran by Supergirl Kells. So she has a lot of results on like the local level that was being talked about. And then also in Tennessee, there's in Knoxville, Tennessee, there's quite a bit of tournaments that a player named Mayo has had some strong results. Hidalgo coming out of that scene. And then I think like the Phantom series and BU series, Boston, Azazel's kind of stomping ground. So there's been quite a bit of positive showing of players from those areas as well. So, I mean, the locals are starting to develop slowly. Hopefully, we can get more of those moving forward. But in terms of prestige, what order would we put these in? Like Supernova's probably number one, or not probably, it's almost definitively for sure number one. And then I think it's kind of a toss up between Monarch and Sweet Spot 9 Blue. And then after that, probably Crimson and Ranbats. And then Genesis, Get On My Level, Game Lab in that order, probably. Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. I guess it depends on how much if you value entrant count versus like
right.
like top player attendance.
Right. And typically for the rankings, I think, it's kind of laying this out. Like Gommel has a lot of players, but in terms of like that top level attendance, Big D won that tournament with second going to Kiwi and Supergirl Kells coming in third. And this is not to say that they're not good players, because obviously that they are. It's just that in terms of Genesis, for example, had like a comparable player amount, but we had a much higher level top level of players that rolled into that tournament. It seemed like, at least between Chia and myself, and then Ish kind of bringing up the rear on that one, and Kurobi with a surprise performance. So kind of I get your point on that front. So a lot of this is talking about the heads to heads. So if we look at the head to heads, I did my best here. So we've calculated all of the head to heads for players. I try to put it in as close to an approximate order as that I could think of for the top players. The only exception on that was Fallen, that I just kind of added in at the end here. But actually, Fallen seems to be in the right place. Maybe I did add it in the right place before. Did I put Fallen twice? Oh, I did put Fallen twice here. Oops. Ignore me. I mean, guess I don't need that right there. Can get rid of that. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, looking at this, the first topic that came to mind immediately is that there isn't a clear cut number one if you just go by head to head. And what I mean by that is, if you look at Vex's results here at the top spot versus your results here, Hunter, Player-1 at the number one spot, my inclination is that your Player-1, you are the number one player, and Vex is second. But simultaneously, I could see somebody making the argument and saying like Vex has not had any losing records to any players that he's played. He has 2 ties. And he's lost 1 set to you, but he still has the overall series edge. Well, on your end, you have positive records on everybody except for Vex, that you have the 1 losing record. What are your thoughts about that breakdown? And I guess the other factor that I come into that is, if you look at the placings overall for tournaments, you can see that you've won 3 out of the 4 hardest tournaments, and Vex has had a first, second, and fourth, which is really good showing. So don't don't take this as like Lux is saying like, oh, it's not a good showing by Vex, or the tournaments don't matter as much, but still, it's one of those rare cases where the first place rankings seem to speak louder than the head to head might, which doesn't always happen like in previous years.
Just my thoughts on it. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I have the stronger record than the placements, I guess, at the
Mm-hmm.
moment. I mean, I guess I would value, even though I have a losing record to Vex, I would value the one win and the rest of it being undefeated, I guess,
Right.
over the two ties, I guess.
Yeah, and
Because I have the
even on a resume standpoint, right? Like if you take your sets against the let's say the top 6 of people or something like that, right? You're 5, 6, 5, 6, 10, 11, and 3 against the top 6, and Vex is um, 7 and 4 against the top 6, right?
Yeah. I would also, I mean, for any rankings, I think, in my opinion, I would use 2024 rankings also, or tournaments
Sure.
also in the ranking. So I
Yeah.
would include all those head-to-heads. I don't know how much Vex participated in 2024, if that would sway any, like if you would have any losing records at that point.
Yeah.
Because
That I don't
I guess
know.
he
Do
would
I
only
have 20? Let me see if I have
he'd only be
2024.
playing against I think he only played against like Kios at some random tournaments, to my knowledge. Maybe Mike Ray. I don't know.
Let me see. I might have 2024
Um,
hanging around here somewhere. Keep talking. Let me see if I have 2024 for Vex.
and I guess I would also, to Cody's credit, I wouldn't, like, as long as Mennonite legal tournaments are still a thing, I would still include, or I guess I wouldn't count the Vex loss too much against him because he wasn't able to play his main
Mm-hmm.
at the tournament.
Sure.
Because that's still, I would say, the standard is Mennonite legal tournaments at the moment, right? So I guess I give Vex the credit for beating Cody and myself as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't hinder Cody as much for losing those records. It's a positive for me and Vex, but it's not too much of a negative for Cody, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know if there's like any specific results that are, at least on the Cody front, that would like fundamentally change if he didn't have the losses, like the loss to you. Let's say that's like half a loss or something like that. It'd still be. I mean, you can call this a 0-0 yellow, right? And then the 1-0 with Vex would be a slight positive at that front. Um, and I'm just trying to imagine these two positions being yellow and green. That would be, I don't know. It'd be debatable then if Cody would jump in from uh, third to fourth at that point, or from third, or from fourth to third above me, or not. And I guess it kind of depends. The 2 wins here is doing a lot of a lot of carrying on that point. So I'd be interested to see how that would factor out. But on my end, I'm just like I try not to get too caught up into the differences, like in the rule sets of the tournament. Usually, I just kind of think that if people enter, they enter. People go to a lot of rule set tournaments that they may or may not agree with on a variety of things, and sometimes wins and losses are wins and losses. But there's an argument to be made on both sides of it. And answering a question from the chat to this Razzo Milligram. Yes, I did count. I probably counted. I don't know which tournament that you're talking about, but I counted every single Brawl tournament that I could find on on StartGG, and then at least that I could verify that we're actually Brawl. So probably your tournament was on that list.
I think I guess, yeah, like I was saying, as long as Mennonite legal tournaments are still standard, even like with
Mm-hmm.
restrictions, I wouldn't for me, I would kind of take that into consideration, and I guess that's I feel like that's part of like what being a panel is versus just
Right.
having like a elo rankings that just an algorithm that just does it for you.
Sure.
Um, because then there's no point of a panel because you just have I guess the panel would like determine the metrics of the algorithm, but I don't know. I feel like a panel is kind of they can kind of look at the intricacies of a bracket and be like,
Right. Some of the nuance elements of it. Right.
yeah, like take it like with melee. I think like when Mango goes like Dr. Mario or something at like tournaments or whatever, I don't think they hold the losses against them too much.
Hmm.
Or if any at all. I don't know how they factor that in, but I don't think they I don't think that they just I do think they take it into consideration. I think that's something that yeah, you can do as a panel based ranking.
Sure.
Um and I guess if we're still talking about the top spot, I think even with the 2024 rankings,
Hmm.
um like Cody beat me at the last Supernova twice, so I would have like a losing record overall. But he also lost to 6, and I think I have the winning record on 6 because I think I only played him at
Yeah, you
the
did.
Sweet Spot tournament last.
I found the 2024 rankings actually.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
that's the only time I played 6. So I think because I beat him that tournament, I would have the winning record. Um,
pull that up. There we go.
and I think that would overall put me as number 1 still for 2024, like a 2024, 2025 rankings, or just the solo
Hmm.
2025 rankings.
Gotcha. Yeah, like well, like for solo, it's it's there, but definitely point taking. Like even for because Vex did not go to um as many events last year, right? So like he would pick up a loss to Cody and um why does it say he lost to Mike? Did he lose to Mike? I don't think that's right. It's probably a loss to Kaios. There might be some ordering wrong. I'd have to double check,
Well,
but
I think Vex would. I mean, he wasn't going like D to D. I think he was like going
oh, okay.
Game
Yeah,
and
that
Watch
might be it.
and Fox.
Okay.
And see that like that's what I guess makes it hard because now like he's been playing
Mhm.
D to D more often this year at the
Right.
2 big tournaments he kind of attended, and clearly his D to D is like a step above his other characters. Not that his other characters are bad, but
Hmm.
I think if he was like legitimately trying to win, he'd be playing D to D. But I mean, like he was I guess he was still kind of on the return from last year. So
Hmm.
um I guess like his return tournaments, I guess, like we didn't know how good his D&D still was. I mean, I think his
Yeah.
D&D obviously would still be very good, and I guess he kind of showed that. But when you get some returning players that are coming back to the game, they don't always perform to the to the tournament placings they were used to back in the day. But Vex
Sure.
has already stepped up to them, and this year at least.
Right. Yeah. So I guess moving on to the next spots in the rankings. We have an interesting dead heat going on. I think between um Cody, myself, Kaios, and maybe throw Mike into the mix on that as well. Um, I think when I put it down, at least for this 2025 season, the landing spot that I came to again is kind of looking at the record resume against the top end. I ended up with um, 7-6 overall, with most of my losses coming to you in tournament. We gotta fix that coming into 2026 and try to make it a little more respectable. Versus on Cody's side, he's 3-5 overall. 3-5 or 4, 3-4. Sorry, let me do the math here. 1, 2, 4, 3-4 against across that top 10. And then Kyle's has a pretty strong resume in that he's 3, 4, 6 and 6-6 across that top 10. So just overall, like in terms of resume of work, like you know, I could see the argument like, oh, Lux's losses are against lower level, lower ranked people within the top 10, because I dropped a set to Hinkage and Hoenn in Sweet Spot Blue. But otherwise, like but I did beat them in the run back right on Crimson for both of them, and also the only player other than Vex this season with the Player-1 win. Um, when if you look like and I think from the smell test too, if you just kind of look at the overall results, got the Genesis win, the second at Supernova, and then the second at Crimson being kind of the top result. Cody's being a third place at at a Supernova, and then a Monarch fifth place, and then Kaio's having the Rambat Legends win, so it's kind of is a big win on his end, and then fifth at Supernova is a good placing, and then fifth at Monarch was a strong tournament. Mike's is kind of up and down across the board, where second at Sweet Spot Blue is really good, seventh is the lowest of that that cohort of group of people. Fourth at Monarch is pretty good. Third at Rambat Legends is pretty good. And there's also the DQ topic at Crimson, where he DQ'd out of the tournament on winner's side, playing when he was in that set against Gunner, and he had the hand injury mid set. So
that was against me. Unless he had another one against Gunner.
Oh, he had one against Gunner too. That in the middle of the set that he cramped up. You might have been one of them because he played you on grand finals, I think, for
he cramped
for
up
Blue. Right.
mid game.
Right. And then he played at least one. He played one set in Crimson because of the second bracket of the day, and then his next set against Gunner, he cramped up a little bit during, I think, game one, and then game two, when it was it's Pikachu, right? So it was kind of dumpster time at that point. He super cramped up, and he was down. So, and then I talked to Gunner about it. And he said, just don't call it a win, call it a DQ, which is respectable sportsmanship on Gunner's part. And actually, the irony ended up being, if let's say hypothetically Gunner does put that win onto his resume, he would be probably into the top 10 in terms of scores. With that being a kind of a marquee win on his part. Without it, his resume is unfortunately just outside of the top 10 once again. So he kind of really got the sportsmanship high end, but the results short end of the stick, right? In that situation for him, unfortunately.
I don't know if this is kind of not really related to the well, kind of related to the like these players here, because it kind of influences them.
Mm-hmm.
But probably going on an unrelated tangent. So you're including all the brackets in this rule set, right? Or not rule set, sorry, in this ranking.
Yeah.
All Brawl rule sets, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess why wouldn't but it doesn't seem like you're including like doubles or like the Monarch home run contest format.
Sure. But, yeah, I mean, I could include those. The main reason being I couldn't find some of the other brackets, for example. But leading up to the Monarch tournament, I actually asked Mike, are there any brackets on these tournaments that you feel like, when you talk to the people that are involved, that shouldn't count for rankings, because the intent of it is not to be a ranking event. And he made it clear, at least to me in our discussions about it, that the main singles bracket was the only one that was a ranking worthy tournament. But that being said, I am sympathetic to the idea that, for example, like the low tier tournament being a singles tournament should count on some level. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to counting the home run contest if people kind of went in under the understanding that it was going to be a rankings tournament. But at least talking to Mike about it, his sentiments were that I think most people understood, at least going to the event, that only the mainline singles was going to be the ranking tournament. So it's kind of a conversation, part of that panel idea of nuance about it. I think one of the big factors on whether something should count for rankings should ultimately be is if people go in under the assumption that it is going to be a ranking tournament. And well, as a diehard, I respect the idea that home run contest as a singles event is a competitive brawl event and I'd be willing to count it. I don't know if everybody going into it expected that to be like, oh, I lost my match to this person or something along those lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I mean, I would not count them, but I guess I'm just wondering like what the criteria is to
Right.
count them, since like Mennonite band tournaments and Mennonite legal tournaments are both being counted in this rule set, or like,
Yeah.
yeah, the Sweet Spot Crimson and the Blue brackets, although having like very different stage lists in their tournaments. So like, it's like what's the where do we I guess draw the line when it comes to what rule sets are counted, what aren't, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I personally am not like one to draw any line outside of like what the uh, tournament, like the TO expects or indicates is going to be the main rule set. So like when I talked to Mike about it, and I was like, I'm willing to count the anything that you want. You just got to communicate to the people that this is going to be a tournament that's going on to the rankings, and that's the intent of it. So like Ranbats, for example, is probably the most extreme example of this, where the rule set is the players can agree to whatever rule set that they want, just under the understanding that they need to find a winner within in good faith about 15 minutes, and the reason for this bracket is that it's going to be specifically something that's counted towards rankings and stuff like that. So and broadly, people treat it with that sort of idea where I think, for the most part, you do end up with people playing on rule sets that more closely resemble at least one of the the mainline big event rule sets. But if somebody really wanted to come down and play home run contest, then I'd be fine with it. Just but I did put in a rule set stipulation for Rambats in particular that if it did come down to a that people couldn't agree on the rules and they had to do a home run contest to determine the winner, that there wouldn't be a rankings result submitted. That it would just be considered a tie, and that or a draw, no match, and then whoever won. But for the purpose of the tournament to advance the bracket, I did need to have a winner or a loser, so to speak. So they would still have a winner of the bracket, just wouldn't count towards rankings, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's also well, you say it counts for rankings. I guess
Yeah.
it also depends on whose rankings.
Right. Yeah. That's like I could foresee a situation, right, where like let's say just using your alternate rank, you're not like, the official rankings, right, so to speak, that like you might just ignore what people are saying and just say like, look, this is too different than what people would reasonably expect to be a ranking worthy event, right, and just not count those results, so to speak. And that, that's everybody's prerogative. I think that there's something to be said that like all these rankings, there is a subjective measure on where lines are drawn and stuff like that. That is there never is a right or wrong answer, even if the rules are all equal on level. But even like the idea of because there's such a wide range of rules that are used across all the Brawl tournaments, that that if somebody only wants to count like only the results on FD or something like that, yeah, they can make that ranking. That's fine. That's that's their prerogative at that point. But the only thing that I would always just question is that like it's like the tradition of the community has been a wide ranging rule set, especially in the the last few years of trying to at least make some sort of movement towards Mennonite and ice climbers and stages and whatever controversial topic that there is in the community. And so I think like part of the character of the tournaments that are available are this wide ranging rule set. So I think like a ranking that is reflective of the accomplishments of the players in today's era would be something that takes all those rule sets into consideration as like kind of a on equal footing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's there is no right answer on that, right? Because that'd be similar to that discussion that we were having on like should Cody's Mennonite or non-Mennonite losses count the same way that a Mennonite loss would, right? Or something like that. And I there is no right answer to that specific question. It just kind of depends on what individual people value at the end of the day.
Yeah, right. I guess. I mean, I guess like if you if you really wanted to, like, you could just make a ranking for each individual rule set that's been like at a tournament in the past year or 2
Right.
years or however long your rankings time period is. But obviously that would that would require a lot of work because sometimes you just get like one tournament only that runs that exact rule set. So
Right.
I guess you're trying to find like I guess for me, like it's how close are the two rule sets, like where the same skill sets for the most part are being tested across the different rule sets.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be some differences, but if the overall skill set is the same across the different rule sets, um, I guess it would be considered close enough where you would kind of combine the tournaments for the rankings.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's like even like just thinking about like the big tournaments. Genesis had a different role set than Sweet Spot 9 Blue, which had a different role set than Sweet Spot 9 Crimson, which had a different role set than Monarch, which had a different role set from Gommel 2025, which had a different role set than Supernova 2025, and which had a different role set than Rambat Legends. Like all the big tournaments that we had, each of them had their own different unique rule set. Actually, like every single one had a different rule set. The only one that I think might mirror, I have to double check this with Kaios and Vex is this pre-lab supernova or pre-supernova game lab might have had the supernova rule set just because it was specifically intended to prep for the supernova tournament, and that might be the only one that has a duplicate rule set overall.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like every single tournament might end up being different. At which point, then it's like is it even possible to do a ranking if it's and then it gets into that question of how close is close enough, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what the right
it's
answer
just
to that
like
question is.
subjective at that
Right.
point. And again, it kind of just leads back to I guess why we would have a panel based ranking
Mhm.
that can discern that unlike an algorithm, I guess.
Right. Any thoughts on that group? Myself, Cody, Kaios, Mike Ray.
Well, I guess based off the results that are in front of me right now,
Mhm.
I guess this order seems like appropriate.
Yeah.
Um I'm looking at it still. I think again, like when you played against Hinkage,
Mhm.
when you lost to him, were you playing Ice Climbers?
No, I used Olimar, Falco, and Zero Suit in that tournament.
And was Ice Climbers restricted at all in that rule set?
Restricted?
Yeah.
In what? What do you mean? In what? Like, was there a ban on chain grabs or anything like that?
Yeah, or
Uh,
stages or anything like
well,
that.
I mean, in blue, yeah, big blue is legal. I went, I lost the. I can't remember what game one. Game one was on. Game one was probably Smashville. Then game two was probably like Battlefield. And game three was Rainbow Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Ice Climbers restricted. Just to be clear, that's Ice Climbers are just not good on Rainbow Cruise, for example. I wouldn't, but I wouldn't qualify that as Ice Climber restricted, right? But I was
Right.
definitely playing that, as much of the tournament as I could because I've been like making a conscientious effort uh, in this, this season to not or to play not Ice Climbers in a lot of brackets. Like a lot of my wins, like I had Ish, I played DDD, Kurobi, I played Olimar, Gunner, I played Olimar, Chia, I played King DDD, Hinkage, I did Falco, and then one game of ICs for the win. And
Mm-hmm.
then I forget, like I said, Olimar, excuse me, Olimar, Falco, and Zero Suit for the loss, and then Hoenn I played for the loss. Two games of Zero Suit, and then one game of Ice Climbers, for example. So it was just kind of like a mix of stuff.
Yeah.
But in that situation, like my argument, and this made me, not at the risk of countering or undermining the value or making the losses mean more for myself is that I mean I knew the rules right going into it, and I chose to play those characters knowing full well that it does hypothetically lower my ability to win, but it's but I made those choices even though I could have gone Ice Climbers at any point in time, right? And that was my choice to make as a player, and and that's why I'm like willing to wear that. Okay, like I lost on those brackets, which is a little bit of a different situation than like Cody going to a tournament, and even if he wanted to go Meta Knight, he couldn't because it was banned at that tournament, right? So that's a little bit of a distinction, I think, philosophically, that you could draw.
Yeah, I guess for me, like my criteria to weigh that loss or weigh that win, for Hinkage would be like yeah, if you're going I don't want to say random characters, but your secondary characters, how
Right.
would you describe them? Tertiary characters? I don't know
I would
how
I
you
would
would
call
just
them. I mean, I think that my goal is to main counterpick it, by next year. So I would
right.
call them like, I think I'm willing to admit that Ice Climbers, just based off my wins, is my best character, and then after that, there's probably like a secondary range of about like Meta Knight, Falco, Olimar, King DDD. Uh, I want to say Zero Suit, but Zero Suit has just not been getting the job done. So we'll set that aside, because like what I'm saying is that like I have like a top 10 win on Chia with King DDD, or I have like a two top 20 wins with Olimar, for example, and Falco, not as much. I haven't gotten a win yet with Falco, so maybe Falco is probably like on the outside looking at it. But I would also argue that I feel like Falco is my second to best character when I play. Maybe third after Meta Knight. Better than my Olimar and my DDD. It just just kind of depends on the player and the matchup.
Yes. I guess again for my for my criteria,
Yeah.
like it sounds like if I was on a panel and I was like judging this, I would probably say like, yeah, like those losses would hurt you, but I wouldn't hold them against you too much.
Ah.
And same thing for Hinkage's in Hinkage's direction. Like, yeah, he beat you, but I might not hold it to the same standard of someone beating your ice climbers, just being
Mhm.
like a judge on the panel, right? And I guess if it would be one thing, I guess if you were playing those characters like the entire season for like every tournament,
Right.
because it's just like, okay, you are committing to this, I guess.
Yeah.
But if it's at a one or two tournaments type of thing, then it just sounds like it's more of an outlier that uh I would what's the word? I would not look at as hard, I guess.
Fair.
Um, so that's what I would judge my criteria on. So like I
Yeah.
guess on a panel, I would say yeah, Lux is number 3
Mhm.
based off this. I guess either way, really. If I include the Hinkage loss or I don't include the Hinkage loss, like that's what
Right.
I would say. Um, so I guess it didn't really change too much, but
But it might down the line, like let's say there's like a crazy tournament that happens, like I don't know, Kaios goes on a heater and Cody goes on a heater, right?
hmm
And then it is in that that close enough range. Like I guess you and I would differ a little bit in so much as I'm just saying that I think that um, overall I should just eat it on the losses, right? That's my prerogative as a player, and my unfortunate responsibility that the loss is the loss. As opposed to, but I do understand the argument. It's like, okay, like there is something to be said to that, like especially if we're trying to encourage greater character diversity in the community, especially when it comes to Meta Knight and Ice Climbers in particular. It seems like I do feel the social pressure of people not wanting to play against Ice Climbers sometimes, right? So maybe as an incentive to try to encourage non-ice climber play, maybe there is something to be said about being a little bit nicer to losses on when I'm playing a non-ice climber character or something like that. I don't know. I think some of it is just I'm more ride or die. That this is just the result is the result. You have to hold the L, and better luck next year, kind of a deal. I don't know. There's a lot of
um,
factors.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. Like you said earlier, there's not really a right answer to it. Like, I mean, if people made a ranking and they wanted to include that, I might disagree with it, but I wouldn't I guess I would understand like where they're coming from.
Right.
Um, because yeah, like it's sometimes you just want to be as objective as possible and just um, like yeah, like a win is a win and a loss is a loss type of thing.
Right.
I guess I'm trying to my purpose of my rankings would be to just find the overall just not looking at results, not looking at placements, like the overall just like best player type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And like how would you measure that? Like, yeah, you would use tournament placings, but like you would also look deeper into it, and yeah, all the nuances that kind of go into it, like character choices, and rule sets, and all those other factors, I guess.
Right.
Um, whether like someone gets a cramp during the mid set, like should we include that or not? And like I would not include that in the as a legitimate loss. Maybe I would like count it for a win for the other player, but I wouldn't count it as like a loss to hurt that
Mhm.
player. Um, yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I think Lux, Cody, Kiosk, I think that is fine based off the results that I'm looking at right now.
Right. Um, any other thoughts on that? Move on to the next cohort of people.
No, I think I'm set, I guess.
All right. So the next group that I had was Hoenn, Fino, Hinkage, Chia, and then maybe also closely in that group, Mr. Ryan Ness and Gunner. I think maybe kind of that next half a dozen or so people. For Hoenn and Hinkage, obviously the wins on me at Sweet Spot 9 Blue carry weight. Fino's one appearance at Monarch is kind of his claim to his results because he had the win on Mike Ray and the win on Xenon there. Chia had a split sets with Hoenn, split sets with Hinkage, and the 2-0 on pretty much wins on everybody else from there on out. Kind of speaks a lot, a large amount. I think Mr. Ryan Ness's season has been highs and lows. I think results wise. And then Gunner, we already kind of covered briefly the rather unfortunate situation for Gunner that he's kind of was on the wrong end of a again, I can't speak enough to the quality of character and sportsmanship that it takes on Gunner's part to just kind of just let that what looked like it was almost a certain win kind of go just out of sportsmanship, but so he's kind of on the outside looking in just kind of because of that, and even comparing the placings of these players. Hoenn's got those three third place finishes at sweet spots. Fino has the one third place finish at Monarch, and then but a lot more positive record, or at least not as many losses, I guess, to work through. Hinkage had a pretty even esque event where he's between fourth and ninth at tournaments. She has a kind of much more less lows, but head to head spoke a different story. I think that Mr. Ryan Nessus is outside of the Monarch placing, it was pretty comparable, and then I think Gunner is definitely because of the placings behind Mr. Ryan Ness overall as well. Any thoughts on that cohort of people?
Yeah, can you go back to the the head to heads?
Yeah, got it.
Let's see. When Gunner was fought Mike Ray, and the cramp happened,
Mm-hmm.
did I didn't watch that set, but did you?
Yeah, I mean, it's on YouTube. I can try to find it.
Oh, well, I was just gonna ask, like, from the way that you were describing it just now, I guess
Uh-huh.
because I didn't even know this happened, with Gunner and Mike Ray until like this conversation. I thought Mike Ray DQ'd out of the tournament because he got a cramp against me and he just didn't feel like playing against the rest of
Right.
it. Like I didn't know he continued playing.
Oh yeah, he
In the
tried to
bracket.
enter. I think he played round one.
Okay, so I guess I was gonna ask, did like the way that you made it sound though, you made it sound like the cramp was a non-factor up until the very end, and it seemed like Gunner was going to
It's
win
hard to
the
say.
entire time.
Hold on, how come I can't find it? How do I look at my videos? Your videos. Here we go. Let's see if find it.
I guess like to me, it kind of matters how early the cramp happened. Like if it happened game one,
Uh-huh.
kind of like a minute in, whatever, I wouldn't.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you know,
would
it's
kind
on
of
Chia's channel.
discount
That's why
that.
it's not on my channel. I'm like, why can't I find this? This is on Chia's channel.
Uh,
That's why. It's on Clash
um,
Tournaments. That's why. Hold on.
but I guess if it's like, Gunner won the first game and seemed like he was winning the second game, and um, yeah, I wouldn't count that really. I wouldn't hold that loss against Mike Ray, but I would go ahead
Mhm.
and just like give Gunner the dub in the head to head there. But I wouldn't hold the loss against Mike
Right.
Ray. So
You'd see.
like it'd be a good thing for Gunner, and then just kind of ignore it for Mike Ray. That would kind of be my prerogative.
They're still playing it. Game one. Game one seems like okay overall. I don't. I'd have to go back and watch like the whole thing, like if they pause play for a bit. But I think game one they played out like normal. But
Hmm.
then game two, yeah, Mike is he's got the lead, and then he's visibly cramping in the situation, uh,
Mm.
and he's down, and then I think they quit out. So maybe I was wrong. I thought what's it called? Gunner had a stock lead, but maybe Mike got an up tilt or something in the situation. He had a game lead for sure
Okay.
though. Like before it was so like yeah, it's definitely one. Oh, yeah, he did get it up tilt. Okay, so actually Mike was winning by
Yeah. So
stock
like I
percent.
guess, but Gunner won the first game. So yeah, like I guess he won
Right,
the first game. I guess this is a situation where like yeah, I wouldn't hold the loss against Mike Ray, but I would I
right,
would just kind of give Gunner the dub for it.
right. Okay, yeah. That's is there anything else on that? No, that seems about right. So yeah, it's they got one stock into game two is one, but he was up 1-0 overall. So if I
Hmm.
mischaracterized it before, I apologize if Mike tunes in later. This is me apologizing for not characterizing it as correctly. I thought it was the other way around, that Gunner had the stock lead 2 on game two, but it's actually I was wrong. We had the game lead, but not the stock lead coming out of game two. So yeah, I don't know. That's tough because like just imagine a situation here, right, where Gunner now has that Mike Ray win. That would probably be enough. That would catapult him to like above Hinkage, I would think. Um, Maybe
Yeah, and
even above
then
Fino.
I'm looking at Hoenn,
Uh-huh.
and I guess and I get for my criteria I would use 2024.
Mhm.
And I think he had beat 6 at your tournament. So like that
Yeah,
would also kind of catapult Hoenn a little
right.
bit
Hoenn would be
higher.
higher overall for that ranking for sure because like Hoenn has the splits. Oh, he has a split sets with 6, so it's not an even.
Right.
Like he and I are even last year as well. Um, and he's even with 6 um, also from last year. So yeah, that might that just add another even there, plus an even against a hypothetically. I don't know where 6 would be without 2025 results, but he'd be up. He'd probably be up there overall somewhere in the top 5, I would assume. So it'd be
Hmm.
another even in the top 5, so to speak.
And then Mike Ray beat Hoenn at Sweet Spot, I'm guessing.
Yes. And losers finals of blue.
Uh-huh. Which one? Wait, I don't remember the tournament names. Which one is blue? That's
The
Big
first
Blue.
one.
The
Yeah,
one
with
where
Big
Big
Blue.
Blue's legal,
Yeah,
right?
the one with Big Blue
Okay,
leading
that's easy
legal,
to
and
remember.
and that one had the Meta Knight stage clause, right? So Mike Ray had
Okay.
a Meta Knight stage clause versus Hoen's Meta Knight, for example.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the stage clause like is like I'm a proponent for stage clause, so maybe I'm biased.
Yeah,
Um, like overall, I'm a proponent for stage clause, I guess. But so I mean, yeah, like that is seems like again going back to our discussion, like to me that's a legitimate win, I guess.
right. Yeah, although I'd imagine if you asked Hoenn, he'd probably be less inclined to to grant it the same legitimacy, and he might contest that it's like maybe it is something that I don't want to put words in Hoen's mouth, but I could see an argument where he'd be like, well, maybe that's why maybe my win or loss should be in that same that same category of it shouldn't count as much against me, but it should help Mike or something along those lines. And that and
Right.
that kind of discussion is kind of why I try to that's the positive side of my argument of look, people the main thing is that they expect that they're going in this tournament is going to be ranked. So if they think it's going to be ranked, then they just got to hold it. Kind of a
Mhm.
discussion, but
Yeah, I guess kind of my argument against that would just be I don't want people like not entering tournaments
right, right,
because
right. That is definitely the downside. I
uh
agree.
yeah, and I don't want to discourage people from not entering tournaments when Brawl's already kind of in a small state, right? But yeah, I don't know. That's just me. So I guess
Mhm,
Hoenn, like based off the rankings here, like yeah, Mike Ray, Hoenn. I could see Hoenn above Mike Ray if you include last year's
mhm.
rankings. But I don't remember. Like I wouldn't remember every other person's rankings on here. Like I wouldn't remember how Fino did last year. I wouldn't
Right,
remember how Chia did last year. So, but just knowing like Hoenn had the 6 win, like that might put him above Mike Ray, even if he
sure.
lost the head to head here. So, but I think this looks pretty good. What about I could see Fino being above Hoenn based off what I'm looking
Hmm.
at here also.
Just the one the one. Yeah, I thought about that, and it's like the one win on Mike and the one win on Xenon plus because the invitation there were not that many. If you look at the the long list of it's blank, right? So there's not a lot of there's just not a lot of matches in that one event. It's like how much what is more valuable overall, like the win on Mr. Rhinus, the 2 wins on Gunner, and the win on Big D, and splits with Chia versus 1 win on Xenon, and splits with me versus 1 win on Mike, or the 2 splits with Chia and me, and it's pretty close. I would say just in terms of the prestige and ranking. I don't know I don't know if there is a right or wrong answer on that front for sure.
Just historically, based on how I've always done like power rankings going back through like Smash 4 and Ultimate,
Uh
I've always looked at the head-to-heads and tried to compare like the how I forget what I used to describe them, like the direct comparisons, the people that they
right.
both played against. Because I don't want to make like um just hypothetical guesses. Like if Fino played against let's say you,
Yeah.
like would he have won? Would he have lost? Like he might have a 1-0 record on you or have an 0-1 record on
Right.
against you.
But I think
Um
that's more speculation though, isn't it? Because like in this particular case, it's like 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 that's kind of guessing. Oh, what Fino? Let's
but that's
kind
what
of we don't
again,
know how to count it, right? Because the result for Hoenn is existent, right? Like it did happen. We did go 1-1.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to speculate it.
Yeah,
So I always value like the direct comparisons more. Um And so, like, the thing I'm looking at is the Mike Ray win,
yeah,
that Fino has, and Hoenn has the Mike Ray loss. Those are 2 people that they both played against and, very
right,
different outcomes for them.
right.
Um, so, like, even though Fino didn't beat Mr. Ryan S. and Hoenn did beat Mr. Ryan S.,
Hmm.
I don't wanna suggest that Fino, like, wouldn't have beaten Mr. Ryan S. if he had just played against them. I think
Right.
it kind of values, um I don't even want to say like going to or entering tournaments because obviously entering tournaments is a good thing, but
Yeah.
like valuing people's ability to go to tournaments. I don't want to hold people uh or I don't want to like hurt people too much just because they don't have the ability to travel to all these
Right.
brawl tournaments.
Yeah. And I guess
Every
that
so
might be
often
like
because
kind of
people don't have the means.
that might be a point of at least a little bit of difference in philosophy on that front. Because like for example, in this scenario, right? Like I would concede that these results are pretty close. If you ask me which record I would rather have, I would probably would want to have Hoenn's record, and it comes down into like if you compare their results, Sweet Spot Blue and Monarch were about comparable in terms of prestige tournaments, and then you throw on a third place on just one more tournament where Hoenn only he only lost to 2 top 3 players in the rankings in the overall in the tournament, and it's like well, do you want should one more third place event result outweigh about equal third place placings at events, and I feel like it does just because of the amount of wins that are pulled in at that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, again, I mean, like, I feel like if you start valuing, um, just wins without direct comparisons too much,
Yeah,
like, other factors start to come into play, like money, like, some people just have the money to travel, and they can
yeah,
rack up, results, whether they're good or bad results, but they start getting wins, and that starts looking good for the resume,
mhm,
when another person might just not have the money to travel or have the time or whatever.
right. And
Um
even if you know, and again, and this is in Fino's defense in support of what you're saying too. Like, it's not like Fino didn't try to go to the event, right? Because he was at Supernova and he just had to. He had unfortunate a health episode that he had to he had to withdraw, right? So
mhm.
like and Holland didn't go to Supernova, but he had money issues. So they like both players kind of have their own unfortunate stories, and yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, I just the way that I look at it is um, we can only rank based off of what has happened, and on my end, I do value even splitting with a top player as being a powerful uh, as a powerful resume builder. And I do take your point on the difference in wins and losses on a like player, but then it's also comparing the rest of the resume. If I would take like the 5 wins to 1 loss against only 1 win, I think I would probably take the resume with the extra padding on it overall. But again, no right
Yeah,
answer or wrong answer.
yeah, I like to me, I think if I were in the position of these 2 players, like, if I were one of the 2, I think I'd
Mhm.
rather have Fino's record personally.
Sure.
Um, but, yeah, it is just a different philosophy. It's not like I wouldn't, like, not take those other wins into consideration.
Right.
They would just be, significantly nerfed, I guess, compared to direct comparisons.
Right.
Usually the first thing I'm looking at is, okay, how many times did did like player X and player Y fight the same player, and like
Mhm.
how many times did like one of them win and one of them lose? And I would do that across get across the board for like all these other things. So if like player X is beating has beaten like 5 players that player
Mhm.
Y has lost to, then and the reverse just isn't true. Like player Y has not lost to nearly as many. Then that looks very good for player X, regardless of uh the rest of the results.
How would you, I guess, looking at it then, how would you distinguish between uh, Hinkage and Chia that split sets from each other? There is a difference head to head where Hinkage is split with me and Chia lost both times, but then simultaneously, Hinkage split with Mr. Ryan Ness, but Chia won both times.
Let's see. So Chia has the win on against Mr. Ryan S.
Right, two of them
And
to splits.
is tied. So like that to me, that is like basically that's a point for Chia, right?
Right,
Then but Hinkage beat you,
right.
but it's tied. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, you would be like such a good win because of how highly ranked you are that I might value that more.
More than the wins on Gunner.
Um, yeah, but she also has a hone win, which I think is a very, very strong
Right.
win. I would consider more
But
than
that's my
beating
argument,
Mr.
man. Right?
Rhinus,
That
right?
Chia does have has the whole and win. I think, but broadly, in this situation for me, like what sold it for me is that Hinkage does have the win. The win with me, and then which is carrying more. But I'm like torn between whether Chia or Hinkage would be higher in this particular case. Like it was like a coin flip more than
Hmm.
anything else. 'Cause I can very easily see an
Um,
argument that's the other way around.
and like that, see, that might play a part in that. Okay, Hinkage beat you when you're not playing Ice Climbers.
Mhm.
Like, well, you did a good Ice Climbers game or a game, right? You said.
That's how on the one win. That's where I got the win. The loss, I did not use ice climbers at all.
Okay, see, like that, so that might play a factor in my
Mhm.
decision as like a judge on a panel,
Sure.
um, for that. So maybe I would not count that win for Hinkage as highly,
Yeah.
um, potentially, or I guess I maybe I still will. I'd have to think more about it, but like
Right.
Again, that might be a situation where, like, yeah, I give the win to Hinkage, but I don't count your loss too much for it.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I have to think about that one. I think right now, if I'm looking at it, I would say, like, if I were had to give it to one person, I think I would give it to Chia because of the Hoenn win and the winning record on Mr. INS.
Mhm.
Like, those are two really strong points. I know Chia has not, or I know Hinkage has not played against Hoenn, but Hoenn, that's a case where Hoenn is such a good win
Mhm.
that it, like being 1-1 with Hoenn, uh, from like Chia's ranking compared to Hoenn's ranking,
Yeah.
it boosts her score, I think, like score quote unquote significantly for me.
Sure.
So
Okay. Yeah. And I think rounding that out, I think without not even talking about like where they should be ranked or anything like that, but I think Mr. Ryan Ness jumping into the just outside of the top 10 conversation is actually a pretty cool story because he's kind of a new add-on to the community as of late. There's like a lot of veterans, and then Mr. Ryan Ness is like maybe 2 years into his Brawl journey at this point, which is pretty cool. Um, all right, next group of people. And this is the last group that I can rank because after 18, it turns into like and Arch is not actually 18. It should just be like a 19 because I have not been able to really figure out my way out from like there's a whole group of people that it's really tough to see. But you got Fallen, Big D, Zine, and Kroby and Ish on the list overall, with Fallen splitting with Mr. Ryan Ness and a win on Ish. Big D splitting with Gunner Maniac and a win on Ish. Zen's with one win directly outright over Mr. Ryan Ness, and then Kurobi with the win on Ish, and then Ish is like the gatekeeper. He's beaten pretty much everybody else that he's played outside of the upper echelon of players.
well, to me, I would say like a lot of these players fall in, and I think Xenon too.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. They wouldn't even be on the rankings because of inactivity purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they only have the one tournament, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, but if you are ignoring that, I guess.
Big D's on the rise though
Think,
for even on your end, right? Because he's gotten quite a few tournaments under his belt now at this point overall.
yeah, I think Big D is the most skilled out of all these players, but based
Mm-hmm.
off results, just based on like these one tournaments, I would probably give it to Xenon because Xenon has the 1-0 record on Mr. Ryan Ness, where Big
True.
D and Fallen have tied or
Split.
losing records.
Right.
But there's not too much data, right? Like that's the
Right.
problem. There's not that much data. Like so I wouldn't include Xenon on my rankings or Fallen. But based on what I'm looking right here, I would give it to Xenon. But I think Big D after playing all these players except Fallen, I have not played against Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say Big D is the one that in my opinion is the most skilled.
Right. Yeah, I don't have like too much commentary on it other than I think from my point of view, I didn't actually get to play Big D too much. I think Kurobi's really good. Like when I played it, I was like, oh my god, this is he's obviously there's the inactive part, but he's got quite a few wins at Genesis. Like just even going further down the list of people that there's a range. Smoom and Winter Shorts were pretty good, and then the win on Ish outright as well was pretty strong. He's the only person to take a game off me at Genesis when we played. But I was also using Olimar too when I played him. But that was a grinder of a
Was he
set. Let
playing
me tell you.
Snake the whole time?
No, he went Meta Knight, man.
Okay.
I don't
He
know
did play
why.
Snake, right?
Yeah, he's a legend, Snake legend, and actually,
Yeah. I was just making
kind
sure
of
I had the right Kurobi.
I was memeing with him a little bit when we were playing at Genesis because his tag in game when he sets his controls is like Mr. 200% or something like that, right? Or just 200%. And I was joking with him because it was Meta Knight. I was like, "Oh, 150%, 150%, not 200, 150%." When we were playing with each other. So yeah, I think
Dang,
because he plays
I
Snake in
wish I could have
Ultimate,
went and played him.
yeah, I'm selfishly, I'm glad you did it because I got to play him myself and got to win that tournament. So what about at least something's got to stop it from being 1-6 and having the most lopsided record on the on the bracket page on the head to head overall.
Maybe I'll maybe I'll try to go to Genesis. I don't think it's gonna be in the cards because I think I'll just be really busy with work. But
Yeah.
man, I'll see how my schedule is when it comes. I don't know if he's gonna show up again, but that'd be cool if he did.
Yeah, I can message him. I have him on Discord. I've been trying to get him to net play with me, but have not been successful yet. But
Mm.
I think if he sneaks his way onto the rankings like in the 20th spot or something, that might be enough to convince him to play. Maybe you can use that as a recruitment pitch. That being said, I'm not sure how to rank the rest of the people. So there's like we'll call it a nice mid level of players that exists. Let me try to make this as clear as I can. All right. Oops. All right. So this is like where the these people I have not ranked yet. There's still there's a lot of them like going down. Like some mainstays like Jam and Toaster on there. I saw Black Twins had a good tournament somewhere in there. I don't know where their wins and losses are, but Mini Flesh or Supergirl Kells has a lot of wins, including this Nightfall matchup is pretty pretty lopsided. It just seems to be the grand finals at the Supergirl Kells tournament. Kiwi has a decent resume, but lost out to Mini Flesh and Iota. Which means Mini Flesh and Iota have kind of a boosted resume because their wins on Kiwi. Fear always continues to be pretty consistent as a player. I think unfortunately Ashley kind of got the rough end of the of some of the exchanges, just kind of at this range of player because she got her ninth place at Supernova, which is a really good placing. So I'm not trying to take anything away from Ashley, but kind of a lot of losses down the line. Otherwise, Winter Shorts has the Ashley win, so it's I don't really know if there's a clear answer here for this. I don't know how many players. How many is this? 17 players that are kind of constitute the mid level, so to speak, of players that we have. There isn't a right or wrong answer, so I don't really know how to even how to even begin trying to navigate this one, other than just trying to do the same process that I did at other tournaments. But
So everything to the left of this,
down
everything
and
to
to
the
the
left
right,
is just losses.
yeah, right, like yes, yeah, it's all
Like
just
none
yeah,
of these players have beaten anyone to the left of what you
right, right,
have.
right, right,
Right.
right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, there's a clear tier like after that.
Mm-hmm.
That exists, and like debatably, Ish might even be in that tier of people, but he hasn't lost any of the people either. So, or they. Sorry, I keep saying he. I apologize, Ish. So yeah, they haven't lost any of those people either. So it's kind of like, but I think it's really cool. Just kind of big picture, talking about it that there is kind of this. I don't want to call them mid level players like in a pejorative negative sense. More like in a positive sense that we have like this tier of mid level players that could become high level players or top level players with a little bit of effort.
Yeah. I think Frisk seems the best out of all of these, just because he has the 1-0 and like no losses at all. But
Right,
that's also not a lot of results at the same time. I
right,
guess
right,
another case where I would try to factor in the 2024 data also.
right,
I might give Frisk some more data to work with.
right.
Um, so to me, Frisk stands out. No losses here and only wins, albeit only one. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. There's like I'd have to do like a lot more like work to kind of figure out a positive thing. There's like an interesting three-way triangle going on between Ashley, Winter Shorts, and Transfem Muffin going on in Ohio. It seems like that's kind of an interesting dynamic. I'm curious to see who will rise out of that group
Iota
of players.
also only has the win.
Yeah, the one win on Kiwi, and then only losses Kaios and Mr. Ryan because it's the one tournament, right?
Yeah. So yeah, there's another case, but he does. To me, there, I guess Frisk and Iota stand out the most because no
Yeah,
losses.
right. That's something that might be the first step to go through. Um, so I don't have too much to say on this other than I think it's cool, and maybe part two will be I will go through and I'll calculate and try to calculate what a good you know 18 through 35 or so
I'm
kind of
kind
looks
of
like.
surprised, well, yeah, I guess I'm surprised to see that Supergirl Kells and Nightfall have played 11 times.
Yeah, there's that's I mean that's because there's so many of these Underground Empire monthly tournaments, and Matchup Check 3 was also one of those tournaments. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else that I'd have to go through. So I'm inclined to like put Supergirl Kells pretty high on the list, just because I think there's some value to be said about like coming through and winning a lot of those tournaments, similar to Azazel. Should would probably command at least some level honorable mention at the lowest, for the work that they're doing in their respective areas. Um, but I'm sure there's other like niche cases that I've missed. That this is just my. I just got finished compiling the data yesterday, right? So I haven't like really done too much, and I kind of just shotgunned this, like the 20 minutes before we sat down and started having this conversation. My inclinations for like 1 through 17. So I haven't gotten through 35. One more discussion topic that I want to bring up, then we'll just wrap this thing up because I think we've been going for an hour or a little over at this point. I actually had the ability that I've tracked the Norwegian tournaments that I could find on the list. So I have like biking here and stuff like that, and there isn't any crossplay this season that I can tell that we would be able to figure out who is how to rank them. So I'm very tempted just to now that it's been a couple of years or so in season since 2023 when Norway came out to the event, it might be time that coming into 2025 that they're kind of dropped from those rankings overall. It's just too hard to tell who's good or who's not good. Obviously, Bike is really good, and Gardex is really good, and Jebu's really good, but we'd be getting into like speculation upon speculation territory at that
Yeah,
point. I think.
if you want to make the trip out to Norway, with me, I'd be
Yeah,
down maybe
yeah. We'll figure that out next year. Yeah.
after I finish my master's program. If I want
Oh,
to do some
when's that?
traveling, I'm supposed to finish next summer,
Okay.
which that will kind of still be hard to travel because I'll be, then the school year will hit right after. And actually, I think I might be planning a trip to Japan during the winter break,
Okay.
with some friends. But I'd love to like start traveling a lot more once
Yeah.
I'm done with my masters and have some more free time.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I was really planning on going out to Norway for this season and going to Smashboard, but I mentioned in the Discord the wife got T-boned by a drunk driver, and we had to just drop like 6K to
Shit.
buy a new car.
I
And
didn't
it's
know
just
that.
been a real pain in the ass. So,
When was
yeah.
that? Was that after Supernova?
Not this supernova. It was like in November of last year.
Oh,
So
I don't know. I don't know if you told me. I don't remember.
I put it in the Discord. I might not have said that
Oh,
directly, but yeah, no,
yeah, maybe
it's
I didn't catch it.
yeah,
Well,
that was
I'm gl-
yeah. She was like that was a rough situation because like she got T-boned like in the rear driver's side seat. So if she had been like half a second slower to getting into the intersection, that would have just been like straight on direct impact on her driver's side. But fortunately, not too many injuries, like just a few like minor bruising and stuff like that. But
well,
wallet
I'm glad
wise,
it worked out, I
wallet wise, we had
guess.
to buy her new car. We were just like, well, there goes $6,000 just immediately out the pocket. It's like, well, there went my Norway trip. Fun
You
to
didn't
just gone.
the other driver, you couldn't The other driver didn't have to pay for it. They don't have money or something.
We there was some we went to we did some court action and stuff like that, and I'm not sure what the final settlement ended up being, but it was not a large amount, and it was not enough to like pay for a new car, like so to speak, by the end of it.
Right.
So probably we we ended up negative dollar wise, unfortunately. But that is a different topic. But it is what it is. Life happens. I'm just glad that she was not seriously injured or anything like that. So knock on wood that that luck continues. That's nothing too bad. But any other thoughts on rankings or anything like that? What would you see like for some of these? What could happen that would drastically change the rankings? Like what would happen for Vex to become number one
in the next 6 months, or not 6 months, but 3 months
between the end of the year? Like Vex would need to beat both Cody and Kaios, right, to be number one, head to head directly. Excluding the 2024, sorry, yeah, because Vex has a lot of legwork to make up if we're including 2024.
Yeah, I guess if Vex beat Cody and Kios, that would put him number one. I would say so, yeah.
Cody would have to what? He would have to beat
I guess that's
Vex
just
outright?
I would still, I guess that would just be for solo 2025. If it was,
Right,
I think
right.
if you're taking 2024 into consideration, then no.
Right. Yeah, I think like Cody, like for his tournament, he'd have to beat Vex, and he probably would have to like double eliminate you in order to move into like second or third. I would think. Like that'd be enough to become in second. I don't know if there's a way that he would end up number one overall in one tournament.
Well, yeah, a lot would have to happen in the next 3 months.
Right. Yeah, some people need more than one tournament. If I end up beating Hoenn and Hinkage, that would probably move me to number two, maybe. Well, it depends on how Vex's tournament goes. It might I don't know. It might be stuck as it is. I don't know. There's a wide range of things, but maybe Kyle's or Mike with some positive results could move up as well, because those are all pretty close. And then after that, it's if any of these players in the that 7 through 17, if they catch a heater and go really deep into a bracket, that might be enough to move them into pretty high territory as well. So, any closing thoughts before we wrap up on your end?
No, I don't know. I'll be making the official ranking panel also this year. So we'll have an official rankings again.
Okay, sure.
The plan is to use 2024 and 2025 data.
All right.
Unless the panel comes to a decision not to.
Okay. Fair.
No, I guess I'm not one to brag about it, I guess, but it is cool to be number one, I guess, even though I think I talked to you last time about it, but it was like never my goal to be number one. I just want to play good, and if I play good, then I think I can be number one. But still want to beat Cody's Mennonite. Like that is like a goal I still have. So I guess I'm still aspiring.
Definitely. No, I think if your goal is to play good this season, I'll be the first one to tell you that you've played very well this season. I've mentioned that it's really cool to see someone be such an honorable champion for the community. Just a lot of hard work and experience and talent and skill, culminating all together to definitely an inspirational season. Hopefully next year I will see you in grand finals again, and it'll just maybe the road to number one or number two is still within my control as well on my end. So but there's still a lot of Brawl left to be played in 2025. We got 3 months and maybe a couple more tournaments, whether it's Michigan. I've seen in the chat there's maybe something happening in Maine. Maybe I'll try to put something together on the West Coast for SoCal. It's kind of a reunion tournament or something. So let's not close the book on 2025 just yet.
Yeah, I think it is. I think this, like, if the ranking was made right now, I know we still have 3 months to go. But it is cool to. I think it's the first time a non-Meta Knight or Ice Climber player has ever been ranked one,
Yeah.
like in history. I think it's always been Meta Knight Ice Climbers, right? I don't think ADHD was ever.
Did Ally ever
I
break
don't
it
think
through a snake?
Ally. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's probably Mewtwo King,
That's what
probably
I was
even back
thinking.
then.
Ally or ADHD, like in the 2009, 2010 era.
Yeah.
Maybe, but we didn't have like a rankings then. But I
And
guess it's like
Japan wasn't
who do you
factoring as
consider
much
the
too,
best in the world?
because
Huh?
you had like Niatono in Japan with Olimar for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, Neotono may have had it. I guess that's kind of hard to
Right.
place because we didn't. Like Neotono came to Apex 2012 and
Right.
did very very well. Um, he didn't
But he
win,
still
but
lost to the Meta Knight, and then we took
yeah,
that as a sign
but
that we
I guess
needed to unban Meta Knight. Very strange
Neotono
community.
would still be considered better than a Tory at
Right.
that time. I think because of the still the tournament. It was just one tournament, right?
Right. Yeah, just one
But
tournament. Yeah.
maybe Neotono had it at one point. I guess we just don't know.
Right. This one's a little more
I guess we'll
confirmed,
say
right?
yeah. I guess we'll say for North American rankings, it might
Right.
be the first time a non-Ice Climber player.
Yeah.
But even though even if that's the case, I guess um it is a cool little accomplishment, I guess. But
Mhm.
I feel like it'd still be a lot more impressive, like if we were playing like a peak Brawl day, right?
Sure. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe the peak is still yet to come. Just like I said, 70 some odd tournaments, 560 some odd players, and maybe we can only go up from here. So that's
Mhm.
everything that we had. Thank you for if you've been listening and been one of the 5 to 15 viewers this whole time listening. I'll put this on YouTube and. But thank you for tuning in. Like I mentioned, there's still a lot of Brawl left to be played in 2025, so we hope to see you at one of these tournaments. And I don't know if Player-1 is very beatable, but I'm very beatable. So maybe come out and try to take your green or yellow result number on the grid against me. But hopefully I see you at the tournament, and hopefully I see you in grand finals. Thanks everyone for tuning in. All right, I'm gonna kill the stream.